and welcome to Pools Embroidery. My name is Michael, and today I'm working on a project embroidering some beanies. And I just wanted to share some techniques with you that I use with my Mighty Hoop. And these are the beanies. And these have a 3-inch cuff, so I will be embroidering on the front center of that cuff. And this is my design. It's about 2 inches by 2 inches. It's a nice dense design, so because of that I'm going to use a Tearaway Stabilizer called Rip Stitch, and here's a close-up view. It tears very easily when you finish, and I can use this on a knit beanie because my design is dense. If it was light and airy, I would definitely use a cutaway stabilizer. And then this is a roll of topper. It's 8 inches tall and it has perforations at every 8 inches. I'll be using 1 layer of that on the top. And then something that just makes this project a lot easier is the Mighty Hoop. And if you're not familiar with the Mighty Hoop, it's made by Midwest Products, and I believe you can go to hoopmaster.com and find these type of hoops. They are strong magnets, so you want to be careful when you're using these. But this is the 5.5-inch hoop, and I'll also be using 2 other items from Hoopmaster. This is the fixture, the 5.5-inch fixture that we'll be placing the hoop into, and it has these nice flaps that hold the stabilizer in place. So that's going to work out really well for this project. And then we'll also need the free yarn base, which is right here. Each of these items is sold separately. I'm not really promoting these products for Hoopmaster. I'm not getting any type of special deal by talking about this. I just really like these products for doing certain projects. And if you do a lot of polo shirts, then the 5.5-inch fixture and the shirt station are really nice to have. They work out really well. So that's what I'll be using, and I will show you my hooping technique next. Stick around. Okay, here we go. We've got our hoop fixture, and we put the bottom hoop in the hoop fixture, and then the piece of cardboard that I made so that it lays nice and flush. Once I have the beanie on here, I've got that inserted, and then I'll put the stabilizer on top of the bottom hoop, and then push the flaps down. And now I just need to put my beanie on here, and I like to use a ruler, and it doesn't have to be this particular width, just something that doesn't come down too far to give it a nice straight edge going across here, and I'll use that to line up the edge of the beanie. I've already marked the center point, vertical center point, 1.5 inches up from the edge with my water soluble marking pen right there. And now I can put my stabilizer on, my topper, and I'll remove that ruler, put the topper on so that I think it's covering the whole hoop. And then we put the top hoop on. And I'm just pulling where the topper's a little loose so that I can make it tighter. I don't want those folds or bubbles, whatever, because then it might mess up the stitches. And then I just release right here, but sometimes it's easier to release this by putting the beanie up, roll it up like that, and then you can get the hoop off easier. And one thing I like to do once I put it on the machine is roll the beanie up over the top of the hoop edge, and I'll show you that in just a second. Basically, when I put it on the machine, after I put the hoop on here, I just rolled up the beanie and then took the outer part and covered it up, and that way I'm free underneath the machine. and I don't have to worry about embroidering accidentally on the beanie on the back. And then I'll just line up my mark and embroider. And here's one that just finished. You can see how that looks, and then I just need to take the topper off and then tear off the stabilizer on the inside. I've got the hat turned right side out just to make it a little easier. And then I can just tear off one layer at a time. You always want to do one layer at a time when you're using Tearaway Stabilizer and tearing off from a design. And then we'll tear off the second layer. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm using this Tearaway Stabilizer with a knit beanie because I have a nice solid dense design that's all filled in for the most part. If I was working with something light and airy, I would definitely want to use a cutaway, and then I would just cut around it no closer than 1/4 of an inch, because it's not going to be seen since this is on the cuff and the cuff folds up. So here's our finished beanie. Turned out real nice. This is a good technique to use if you're doing a lot of beanies. You can get a lot done very quickly using this technique, and they all get lined up nice and equally. So I hope it was helpful.